everyone, welcome to Zealots. I'm Forrest.
I'm Major.
I'm Robbie.
And if you're new to this podcast, it's basically where we just break down everything, not everything, but what we found interesting in pop culture this week. And basically what was interesting this week was Comic-Con happened. They released
pop culture. Can we be more specific? Pop culture is a lot. I don't want to cover what my wife's watching on E! Specifically, we're three lifelong best friends. We're talking about. I don't know if we're shaming Disney, away from this. Force, you have a nerdy podcast.
DC.
I don't know why you're trying to shame away from your nerdy origin. We play D&D together every week.
Pop culture.
This is a nerdy ass podcast where we just get together and we talk about the same thing you're watching. What's on WandaVision? What's on Disney Plus? Who did Homelander kill last week? And how much blood did get all over your TV screen? We cover all of that. Obviously, I wish we would continue covering The Boys, but it's going to be a year plus probably 2 years before we get any more of that. So instead today, I think we're going to break down some, well, not break down, but we're going to talk about some trailers, right? Everything, kind of that we give a damn about from Comic-Con, right?
Yeah, let's start with the DC stuff. Save the good stuff for later. So I'll start with the Black Adam trailer. I think they released a new snippet, a new sneak peek for that. So
looked like a full-blown trailer, two minutes long.
I don't remember. It was like, I think it was like advertised as a Black Adam sneak peek. So I don't think it was like an official trailer. It was just like a Comic-Con presentation. So, but yeah, we got
what do you guys think of Black Adam?
Yeah, I mean, it seems to heavily be influenced by Marvel movies. Obviously there was that shot with the two, was it M16 planes that we had in Iron Man? That was obviously a homage to, a ripoff really, of Iron Man, where he's like flying and there's two jets.
Oh, and he like punches the wing.
No, just like coming up behind him. Because remember that shot in Iron Man trailer like in 2008? He's like flying in the air and these two jets.
Yeah, but wasn't that like a shot from like a Superman movie or a Superman comic or an Iron Man comic? Like all art is derivative.
I think maybe plagiarism. I think in this case, it was like they're trying to get Marvel money.
You're talking about plagiarism. Black Adam, who's a derivative of Shazam, who's a derivative of Superman.
Whoa!
Like if we're even talking about plagiarism,
we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna call him Shazam. Screw that crap on this podcast.
No.
He's Captain
What if
Marvel.
they just did a different camera view as the jet?
You can't call him
behind him.
They called him Captain Marvel for like 40 years.
For 40 years, yeah. Okay, I mean that's true.
Well, they
don't anymore.
Like 80 years,
so I'm just calling it by. I'm calling it by the name that you would Google to see what we're talking about. Yeah, I love your purist perspective, and it's fantastic.
It's just stupid to call him Shazam because that's the wizard's name, and he can't introduce himself otherwise he'll come back into Billy Batson. So, two stupid reasons why they should.
That's a really great point. Hi, my name's actually can't tell you my name.
He never calls himself Shazam. He just, they just come up with a bunch of different names. They don't like the Crimson Bolt.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, I never really thought about that. So I guess props to the screenwriter for that glaring plot hole, like never really like standing out to me. Yeah. Or maybe I'm just an idiot. Yeah, congrats to you. That's a really good point. I never thought about that. Yeah, what do you think about Black Adam versus Shazam? Which one do you want to see more?
We'll get to that eventually, but I think this Black Adam movie, he's based in the Justice Society, and we saw him fight, I think, Hawkman for a second. Well, when I say fight, that leaves the impression that Hawkman stood a chance. Like Hawkman, brings.
Don't worry, he'll come back. That's the great thing about characters who reincarnate. You can kill them; they're cannon fodder.
Yeah. Well, I think I don't think people are crazy about the Black Adam aspect, but I think people, what I've seen online, people really like Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate.
That looks dope. And people are excited for Black Adam, The Rock.
I don't know. Well, we'll see.
I'm excited.
I think he fits the role.
I'm stoked.
He's already got the build for it.
And spoiler alert for as we go on this podcast, this opinion is going to become much more obvious. But I'm kind of getting a little burnt out. Dear me, this is so much. Marvel Phase 4 has been kicking the can for a long time, and it's guys,
it's been giving us content though.
So much content, and I appreciate it. And guys, I'm not
I kind
not
of know what you
ungrateful.
mean, though.
I remember 10 years ago where there was zero content. I remember 20 years ago where you get a Batman movie like once a decade on average, right? You get like 3 Batman movies, and then 20
But once
years without
they
it. It was
notice,
like Star Wars.
Once they notice they can make a lot of money off of it,
Now that's in the, would you
and
say,
they got our generation
the zeitgeist?
growing up with it.
That's our podcast. Now that's in the zeitgeist.
Yeah.
You can make I mean, that's the only way you make billions of dollars these days. You don't make these cinematic masterpieces. I mean, Avatar, right? But that's just a ripoff of what book is that?
Which one?
Raised by Wolves, Avatar. It's just a huge.
Oh, is that
ripoff
based on a
of-
book?
Yeah, I mean, not based on a book, but it's the story of a book, and it made $1
I
billion.
like Raised by Wolves.
Well, I also noticed in the Black Adam trailer, I think there was like multiple Dr. Fates. Maybe that was like one of his spells. I think that was like one of Dr. Strange's in Infinity War, right? Like he became like I think
Probably.
like when he's Thanos in Infinity War, he's makes
I think
multiple
I have
copies
that
himself.
spell too, so I don't know. You know what
So I
would be
think,
cool
like I
though?
said, they're heavily like borrowing stuff from the Marvel movies for this
But
movie.
if it was Marvel, you know what Marvel would do is like when you'd have duplicate Dr. Fates, it would just be different previous James Bonds. Like you could get Daniel Craig in there.
Oh, yeah.
You have Pierce
different
Brosnan,
variants.
and then cross your finger, Idris Elba. Just kidding. I know they're not going to go that route. But I don't know
he's
who else is
still
still alive. I'm sure
alive.
there's another Bond that's still out there and alive. But that would just be like a
Didn't
fun
they-
like Easter egg.
I think they cast a new Doctor Who who's black. So I don't know. I think who's the guy who was in the
What
Gray
was the
Man?
Professor X one, too?
Renee Jean Page. Did you watch the Gray Man this weekend? I watched like the first couple minutes, but I think the
No,
guy
I heard it was terrible.
wasn't terrible. Like, well, I never finished the movie, so that tells you right there. But I think it's just like a Born Identity, not rip off, but like just a inferior Born Identity / Red / Suicide Squad. Because
And that
these
was for all the shareholders out there. Like that was like the big hope. Like that was Netflix's like next big movie that they were pumping out, and it's it's supposed to be a failure. So like womp womp. Like
these are
they-
like already
wake me up.
doing
Wake me
like
up for
a
Stranger
spinoff,
Things.
like they did with Army of the Dead. Remember that movie? They already like greenlit a spinoff before it came out with Army of Thieves.
Yeah, I never even watched that.
It's very mediocre.
No.
But
What else did DC
yes,
put out?
Black Adam. I also noticed I'm gonna make another Marvel connection. Adam Smash from this movie, who's like the guy who can grow big. His mask looks a lot like Deadpool's. He's got like the wide eyes, and like there's like one scene where like he's sort of like running and it looks a little comical. So I'm like, oh great, is Adam Smasher gonna be Deadpool? Is Dr. Fate gonna be Doctor Strange? Is Black Adam gonna be like Iron Man? So it's like they're heavily
You can't
borrowing
beat 'em.
Marvel stuff.
You can't beat him, right?
Rip 'em off. But yeah, what else happened? I think we saw like there's like another girl. There's like 4 Justice Society members in this. We saw Hawkman, who looks okay. I mean, I think there's too much red in his costume. But besides that, I mean, I think the wings.
I
look
like the
cool.
color palette for Black Adam. I thought like this, like that's like
Yeah.
all of the trailers that we're gonna talk about. I think this is like the only one I'm like quote unquote excited about.
Yeah, I mean, this could be surprisingly decent. I mean, I think we're at a point where it could go either way.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think I'm putting too much faith in The Rock, but I'm
What's
also
that?
like, it's The Rock. Like, how's The Rock gonna do a bad job with this? Like, he's charming, he's great. Like, he's been working on this for like a decade, right? Like, there's just no possible way, like, The Rock is gonna let this suck.
Adam's just such a strange character for him to want to do.
I think it's the right call, though.
Lobo.
I
Lobo would be
think
way
you take the Iron Man approach. You take a character that some people know about, but he's not like as obscure as like the Condiment King, right? You take a kind of cool character, and you pour yourself into him, right? Like, would Robert Downey Jr. have worked as Batman? Maybe, but because like no one knew who Tony Stark was, like he could reinvent Tony Stark, and I think overall, the fandom benefited from the introduction, like starting with like a B-list superhero, instead of like your A-listers. Mostly because Marvel had sold all their
A-listers now.
Yeah.
Although they didn't really do much with Iron Man's villains, they're basically some guy who hates Tony because of something he did in the past, and he steals his technology.
Don't worry, they made up for it by making every other villain because of Tony Stark. So don't worry, they made up for it.
Even the Spider-Man villains, he made.
That's what I'm saying, right? Like, yeah, even Mysterio was Tony's fault.
Yeah, and then
but that's the only. Those are the only two trailers we saw. Isn't that correct? We didn't see anything about Henry Cavill or Superman, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think people were really disappointed with the DC panel. They were really expecting, because they didn't even make any announcements.
Don't they have DC Fandom? Don't they have Fandom?
That's for because Disney has D23, so I'm sure they're gonna. It's funny because Marvel, I think, presented more than DC, and then D23 is in September, so they're gonna present even more than they did at Comic-Con, and they already outshone DC. And was Fandom already this year? Was it or is it later this year?
I thought it already happened this year.
Yeah, I think it tells you how impactful it was.
Right, it wasn't anything huge. And I will say, a couple weeks ago, or for the podcast, a couple episodes ago, I talked about how it was announced that Marvel was pulling out of Comic-Con, but obviously they were there. The fan backlash was so big, instantly turned around and changed that decision. Which so
I didn't hear about that actually.
Well, you were on the episode, Rob. That just breaks my heart.
So I guess we talk about the Shazam. Well, I mean, my final thoughts on the Black Adam trailer are, do I care about the Black Adam movie in and of itself? No, but do I hope there's a Dr. Fate or JSA spinoff? Yes. So, which I think they're probably going to be shooting for if this movie does well.
I know you love
this
Dr.
could go
Fate.
either way. I have a feeling this will be like Venom, just moderately entertaining. It'll make a lot of money, but it won't be that good.
No,
but it'll make money.
I think it's gonna be the Suicide Squad. No,
you think it's gonna be the Suicide Squad quality?
No, I don't know if it's gonna be that good.
It'd be a great movie because the Suicide Squad was great. I love that movie.
I did. I mean, we all thoroughly enjoyed the Suicide Squad.
It's probably my favorite DCEU movie. Which isn't saying much, but it's definitely by far the best one of the new era.
For context, though, for the listeners who are angerously typing comments, he has not seen Batman vs Superman, the Ultimate Director's Super Cut Edition.
I only go by theatrical cuts. I haven't seen the Ultimate Cut of Blade Runner. I'm very pro what we're released in the theater is the only thing I'm watching.
No, before the Snyder Cut, the OG Snyder Cut, Rob, for Batman vs Superman.
I did watch the Snyder Cut but I'm gonna also I never saw Joss Whedon's Justice League, so because it was so terrible. But
that's the most average movie of all time.
Justice League.
When I got out of Justice League, I looked over my wife and I was like, "That was a movie," and she was like, "It was a movie."
Yeah, the less said about it, the better.
Oh,
so let's talk about Shazam.
Did you hear about the Snyder Cut and hashtag release the Snyder Cut and everything being just a giant
about bots,
a giant bot ploy on Twitter, which everyone knew.
Let's think about this. WB has just been rebought by Discovery, so there's probably gonna be a lot of changing of executives, changing of job roles.
Oh, it's happened. I like new guys. New guys making cuts.
And Discovery just bought you, and you just you worked at WB during the clusterfuck that was the Snyderverse. Do you really want to take responsibility for that, or do you want to try to blame it on Zack Snyder? I think the latter. I mean, it seems like it's I don't know. I think it's something of a hit job, on Snyder.
Zack Snyder, or do you think it's a hit job on Warner Brothers?
Well, no, Warner Brothers is. I think they're pushing this article in Rolling Stone because they don't the executives don't want to lose their jobs because they're just we didn't do a bad job. It's Zack Snyder's fault. He's the one that strong armed us into making the Snyder Cut. So I think it's just WB's trying to make themselves look good so they don't lose their jobs because they
I
have a
also
new
think
owner.
it's super interesting, just in general, to point out, like, I mean, to a much more important degree, like, you can just go watch a documentary on any streaming service you want to about how Cambridge Analytica teamed up with Facebook and destroyed democracy, right? In several countries across the world, right? So, like, the power of bots is really important. But I think this is a comical highlight of just how powerful bots are. That it could fool a mass group of people, of executives, right, into pouring millions of more dollars into reproducing this movie.
How many do you think are on Twitter?
Think about the Morbius, right? It's Morbin time, right? They convinced Sony. They convinced a public company, a board, right? A board of directors was like, oh my gosh, like the internet wants us to re-release this movie. And they
You're seriously overestimating Sony's film division's competence.
That was just
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying they're not competent at all.
The thing about Sony is, like, they make most of their money from TV and video game sales. So, like, their movie division, it doesn't really matter if they do well or not because they make the majority of their money, I think, from video game and TV electronic sales and financial services. So, like,
I'm guessing they were just looking at stats.
Their main nest egg. So, like, regardless of how Morbius did, I don't think they're going to sell the Spider-Man rights anytime soon. Like, their films don't really do well.
No.
Yeah, I'm sure someone was just looking at numbers and not what people are actually saying. They're like, man, they're really talking about this
Twitter.
movie.
It's all analytics, right? Someone from marketing comes in and says, it's Morbin time is trending. We get 1,000 memes a minute.
But never looked at the comments.
For the wrong reasons.
Yes.
Never looked at the comments, though.
I still haven't seen Morbius.
Because it's just rating interactions. Thumbs up, thumbs down. It's all about the clicks and the interactions. The difference is they weren't able to capitalize on this by turning it into, like, people going to the box office. Now, if they released it on YouTube, right? Or on, too bad Sony doesn't have a platform, but if they partner with Disney, right? To try out this new ad thing, right when it was blowing up, then people would be like, oh, well, I'm not going to go to the theater to watch Morbius, but I'll sit on my couch on a Saturday while it's raining, and I'll see how bad this terrible movie is that everyone's making fun of online, right? Like, that's how you get interactions. That's how you get people to watch Morbius.
It's the #1 movie on Apple, wasn't it? When it was released on Apple.
I don't pay attention to
That's
Apple
like
numbers.
that's like Halo, but like so many people are watching it just to see what everybody was complaining about and stuff.
Master Cheeks, #Master Cheeks.
Right.
Yeah, everybody just called him Master Chief. That became his name online.
Cyberpunk, right? Everyone was going online like, yo, how bad could this how bad could this game possibly be broken?
Part of that was like the developers were trying to say that they needed more time, but they wanted them to release it, and everybody's pushing to release it, so they had all this pressure on them.
Give people more time.
They're like, so here you go. I think if you gave them more time, it would have been less buggy.
Did you hear that news with Marvel?
Everyone was
Rob?
pushing it.
I know you're big into the CGI and the FX and stuff. The news that came out. I do like
checking those out.
So let's talk about the Shazam 2 trailer.
If we have to.
It was, I think what we were afraid of. They really should have made the Shazam movie immediately after the first one because those kids are getting old.
Man, they have aged up quite a bit.
I think like the idea of like having a 14-year-old play Billy Batson in the very first movie was a bad idea. They really should have just like gotten maybe like a 10 or a 12-year-old. It would have been harder to. The kid. Who's the kid in The Boys? How old is he? Like that age. That would be
right.
Yeah.
Or find like a Tom Holland kind of character. Like, look at the guy's parents, and like, are his parents 40 and they look 20? Like, find a kid with good genes who's gonna age super slow. Like, this kid hit puberty like a rocket ship and took off.
Let's see.
If it's even the same kid, I don't know. I couldn't even recognize him. It's been so long.
They should have gone with a middle schooler, not a high schooler. That was a bad idea. I think they were just trying because Jeff Johns is. His reboot in the comics, I think Billy Batson was a teenager, but I think traditionally he's been like much younger.
The DCEU, the DCU is such a shit show. I could not possibly care about the continuity of these kids. If they walked around smoking cigarettes and they were 25 years old with like 5 o'clock shadows and they're supposed to be seniors in high school, I'd be like, all right, cool, whatever. Like, the DCU is so messed up at this point. Like, what are they gonna do?
I'm reading
with Ezra
I think Zachary
and the
Levi's
Flash.
like already in his 40s though, so I think he's a little bit. I mean, he's still going to be older than I think the guy's name's Asher Angel, the guy who plays Billy Batson. I think he's always going to be older than him. So I mean,
Hey,
at
back
least,
with
like-
Huey, he's 28. He was supposed to be 28 as of November 2020.
I think
Asher
it's
Angel.
weird.
That's a name.
You know,
right
he's
there.
How
Dennis
old the
Quaid.
actor was. in
You know,
2020.
Jack Quaid is the actor Dennis Quaid. That's his son. I think Dennis Quaid's new wife is younger than Jack Quaid. So, good job, Dennis Quaid.
Asher Dove Angel is 19 years old.
Okay, wow. How old is Zachary Levi? He's got to be like in his 40s, right?
He's 41.
Okay.
Shazam is number 11 on
So he's 20
trending.
years older. So I guess, like, when he becomes Captain Marvel, he just
Earlier today, the Black Panther trailer was number 1 on trending. It's number 2 now.
We'll get
That
there,
was
Rob.
just
We'll get
earlier
there.
today.
I
I was just looking at the trending because the Shazam was up there.
Shazam needs all the help it can get.
It was number
It's the
11.
DC movie that could. The first one I actually enjoyed quite a bit.
I did enjoy the first one, but like the charm's gone.
Yeah.
We've seen cute, we've seen ugly, we've seen every version of it now.
I think the jokes in this didn't land as much because didn't he like make fun of the Fast and Furious? He said, like, there's only one thing that
To
matters.
Helen Mirren, whom is in the Fast and Furious franchise.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
So like
I've
that
never
stuck out to me like a sore thumb. Like not to be like nerd or whatever, but like I was like watching the trailer and I was like, wait a second, isn't she in Fast and the Furious? I was like, what's happening here? Are they just that sloppy? Or are they just like we gotta use like pop culture references like Marvel, so we'll just do it. And unfortunately, you're just in that movie that we just referenced.
The Fast and the Frivolous. So there's okay, what else? So I think like the bad guys in this, they're called like the daughters of Alice, Lucy Liu, and Helen Mirren. And as far as I know, I don't think these are characters from the comic. So these are just like made up villains in the movie, which I think is a little lame because they teased Mr. Mind at the end of
I was gonna ask, where is the caterpillar? Although I wouldn't put him in the first trailer either. But that's still my first question.
Yeah, so I mean, I think since they can't use Black Adam, because he's doing his own thing, I was hoping they were going to use Mr. Mind as the bad guy in this. But I mean, there could still be some, classic Captain Marvel villains in this, like the Crocodile Man. I think had a cameo in the last movie, and I don't know. I'm trying to think. Like, I don't know a whole lot of Captain Marvel villains. There's Mr. Banjo, so I guess he couldn't show up. They couldn't figure out a way to make him. But I don't understand like what the plot is. Apparently the Shazam is the wizard. I think Jimon Hunsu.
Yeah,
He's back. But didn't he die in the first one?
yeah, because he's the OG.
Did he turn
Shazam.
in the dust or something?
I have to
Didn't
go
Dark-
back and rewatch, but yeah, he
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
died. Like,
As
on
much as I enjoyed that
ride.
movie, I've only seen it once.
Yeah,
And,
right.
I
The
don't
rewatchability
I'm
not
pretty
not
sure
too high.
Wizard. Because literally, he said in the last movie, like, "Speak my name, Shazam." So the wizard's called Shazam.
Yeah,
But I think like when Jeff Johns rebooted it, like, and wanted to call Captain Marvel Shazam, they just referred to Shazam, the wizard, as just the wizard.
yeah.
He was like
Well,
an
they
African
had the
beast.
legal issues with Marvel, so that's what's
Well,
called.
apparently,
Shazam.
like for like I said, like he's been Captain Marvel for Captain Marvel for like 80 or 70 years,
Yeah, from the
and
50s, right?
They lost the trademark to Marvel Comics, but they could still call him Captain Marvel in the comics. They just couldn't advertise that on the covers. So it was just like the power of Shazam or just Shazam. That's how they got around that. But they still call him Captain Marvel, like in the pages of the comics. So
Is it Marvel or is it Marvel?
Marvel is Marvel's Captain Marvel.
Okay. Yeah, it's on the
Because it's
nose.
like
I always
MAR
get those confused. Yeah, hyphen B.
It's
Yeah.
his Cree name. So another Captain Marvel that got butchered in its live action. Not butchered. Well, Marvel's Captain Marvel got butchered because they made him Annette Bening instead of making him a dude.
You know who else got butchered? Reed Richards. Hey.
Yeah,
No.
too soon.
Too soon.
So yeah, they're doing like the whole, the Power Rangers thing again in this new Shazam movie.
Do you care about the brothers and sisters? Like, I barely remember them.
Well, like the best part of the first movie. It was a very positive.
It was like pro family, but like I don't remember any of them except
it was a positive depiction of foster life.
Oh yeah,
which is like basically like every other medium or movie or TV show. Being a foster kid's like the worst thing ever. And like in real life, it's there's definitely some very very bad.
It really helps when you're a foster kid in a Disney movie and you get superpowers. That usually makes things a little better.
Basically, any foster kid in a Disney movie, like look at like Cinderella. Well, she wasn't a foster kid; she was like just
shit. I got evil stepmom.
Yeah, but look at Oliver Twist. Foster kid, awful. And what's that one movie?
And this movie,
Rescuers.
Won't be awful, but probably won't be that great.
Another Disney movie, The Rescuers, where a foster child's also horribly abused.
Save the Disney talk for the Disney section. Shazam needs all the help we can get here.
Yeah, it does. So we fought a dragon. That was cool. I think I also there was like some weird Inception, mirrorverse shit going on because the buildings were like all over the place.
Yeah.
So
it looked very generic superhero, right? Like the ground was shattering apart. Like I didn't know what was happening, but the world's clearly like in danger again. The villains don't look. They look pretty generic. They don't look exactly, intriguing or compelling. But I mean, this is just a trailer. You can't take like too much from the trailer. But I also just don't have too much faith in like the DCEU, and that puts them in a hard spot, right? Because they have to show enough to get you interested. Because in general, they have a tarnished reputation. Reputation. That was weird. They have a reputation for bad reputation.
They make a whole lot of money, but it made enough to warrant a sequel. I'm like worried this is going to make enough money to warrant a third movie. I mean, if anything, Black Adam's going to make more money, and they'll just introduce Captain Marvel in Black Adam. I'm calling Shazam Captain Marvel for our listeners just because I'm protesting the fact that it's stupid to call him Shazam. So whenever I say Captain Marvel, I mean the Billy Batson Shazam Captain Marvel. Yeah.
I am very pro-listener and user-friendly, so I will refer to Shazam as Shazam.
So, there's a dragon in this. Well, I meant to bring up Jeff Johns. He rebooted this Captain Marvel as Shazam and the New 52, but he also wrote another series, I think a year or two ago, with this version that he rebooted in Captain New 52. And there's like something called the Magic Lands. So there's like these different magical worlds that are like adjacent to Earth, and maybe that's what they're exploring in this movie, because it seems they're adapting a lot of Jeff Johns' stuff. Like obviously, Aquaman movie was Throne of Atlantis, an adaptation. It was also an adaptation of his announced Rise of the Seven Seas arc, which he never wrote. But I think we basically got that in the Aquaman movie because he was the producer on that. Because we had the Seven Kingdoms of Atlantis in that movie, remember? So,
Lucy Liu, she's playing Calypso, right? One of the Furies of the gods. I mean, she's good. She's great. She's fun. She's enjoyable.
She would have been great as Rita Repulsa in the Power Rangers movie because,
yes.
In that, remember in the original show, that was like a dub over of the Japanese show, and there was a Japanese actress playing Rita Repulsa in the TV show. So they really should have gotten like an Asian actress to play Rita Repulsa. But she would have been great as that. And she was like, obviously we saw her in Kill Bill as a villain, and she was great.
That's what I was thinking of.
But yeah, I mean, I like that Lucy Liu and Helen Mirren are in this. That they're the villains. I mean, I think that's really good talent.
Bringing some real talent and acting chops.
I'm just a little disheartened that they're not using an actual Captain Marvel villain in this. They're just like created some new villains, but
whatever. Where's
especially if they tease. Yeah, we'll see Mr. Mind and Peacemaker season 2 because they already used Starro, so he's got like to use another
You'll see him in the
crazy
post-credit scene here.
bug slash fish. So, but yeah, I don't know. So I mean, I'll probably go see this. I like the first one. I think it's the same director, same creative team as the first one. You know, I think the jokes didn't land as well in the trailer, but doesn't mean it's going to be.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be bad. I just think it's going to be incredibly average. Which just means that I'm 3 beers away from loving this movie. So, like, let's go. Shazam. Let's do it.
Yeah. So, I guess, we got one more DC trailer to talk about, The Sandman. So, it's taken on Netflix, but it's, owned by DC. So, they released the trailer a few days ago, over the weekend, and they also released 2 clips today. And the clips look pretty good. There's like one where he's in hell, he's talking to Lucifer, who's played by Gwendolyn Christie, who was in Game of Thrones and the new Star Wars. And, he's going there to get his helm. And, yep. And he's talking to Lucifer.
He's wonderful.
Yeah, and it seemed, and then there was like another one with Death, and she's talking to this dude who's about to die. He's playing the violin, and then he wakes up, and he doesn't wake up, but he sees his body in the chair. He's like, huh, I look different. And they were pretty good clips. They were short, but I think, and I think I've heard through the grapevine, people have seen this, been able to see it early, have good things to say about it. So, but yeah, the trailer I think was a lot better than the first one. We saw a lot more of, the Corinthian, who's I guess like the main villain in this. He's the guy with the takes his sunglasses off. He has two mouths instead of eyes. Yeah. So.
Oh my gosh, Gwendolyn Christie as Lucifer Morningstar looks horrifying.
Yeah. It's funny because I guess they're going like for an androgynous Lucifer in this. But there's already an androgynous character called Desire, as well.
Yeah, I don't know. Tom's
like in the comics, like Lucifer, he looks like David Bowie in the '70s. That's what they were going for. But he's obviously still a man. But I don't know. I guess Lucifer is just female in this. But I think the reason they gender swapped is because there was already a Lucifer on Netflix.
Call me Lucy.
Tom. No, there's a show called Lucifer.
No, I know. I'm saying you can call her Lucy because she's a girl to call Lucifer, so call her Lucy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, I think that's why the gender swap, and it's why they gender swapped John Constantine, who I think because there was already a male John Constantine on TV. Even though Legends of Tomorrow just canceled.
Will you do me the honor of watching the first episode and tell me how it is first?
Of what?
Of this. I've watched too much. I've watched too much crap on Netflix. Too much great source material being terribly adapted. So like before you send out the text, hey everyone, we're gonna watch Jupiter's Legacy for the podcast next week, and then I binge watched 7 episodes of terrible shit, and then we're like, oh, this is garbage. I'm gonna let you stick your toe in the water first, so you'd be like, all right, we're gonna talk about this.
Well, I think the reason I'm looking forward to this is because I think the first 2 clips they released were pretty good. Neil Gaiman, the writer of the comic, is heavily involved in this. I don't think Mark Millar had as much creative control as Neil Gaiman does for this show. I think like Neil Gaiman's actually like writing scripts for this, and he's like an executive producer, so he's very much more involved than Mark Millar was in Jupiter's Legacy. I'm not crazy about the way they depicted Dream, but apparently they did like a more comic accurate Dream for test audiences, and it didn't go over so well. So they're I'm not entirely happy with it, but it doesn't ruin the show for me. So we'll see. I'll give it a sporting chance. It could still be mediocre or not good, but I don't know. I'm looking forward to it more than we got to talk about Rings of Power as well, because that had a new trailer out. It shows you how impressive that trailer was. I just remembered it now. But yeah, so I think we're done with the DC stuff. I think the Sandman has potentially pretty good. I think Stranger Things reinvigorated some faith in Netflix for me. Although it's a completely different creative team, but
yeah.
Oh, we also got to talk about Duffer Brothers are readapting Death Note. for Netflix. So that's something to be excited for.
Yeah, maybe.
Death Note's.
Well, let's can we actually make the DC section interesting for 1 second? Burn on DC. Sure. Put out better content, piece of shit. What would you have wanted to see from DC at Comic-Con?
Well, I think everyone wanted Henry Cavill.
No, I don't care about everyone. I care about you four. No one's listening to the podcast for everyone. What do you?
Come back and announce a new Superman movie.
Yeah, okay.
I want to see him fight Brainiac finally, or maybe like Parasite or Metallo or anyone but Luthor or Zod. Because you remember, we still haven't seen a villain besides Luthor or Zod, and you could say Doomsday was in Batman v Superman, but that was really just a resurrected Zod, wasn't it?
With some body modification.
That wasn't the real Doomsday, and I think Zack Snyder said the real Doomsday might actually be out there because I think
I don't think they call him Doomsday just so they could maybe call someone else Doomsday in the future, because once you have Doomsday, what's there to do after that? Kill Superman again? No, that's stupid.
It was just Zod all over again. So.
What about that? What about you?
It was like a bulkier. I don't know. It was basically their version of Doomsday, but I'm just gonna call it Zod 2.0. I'm still gonna. I don't think it was the real Doomsday. That was the real Doomsday.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that headcanon. What about you, Rob? What would you have wanted to see from the DC Comic-Con?
Well, honestly, I've been following the Marvel side of things more.
So a Marvel crossover?
Hey,
take the easy way out.
See what?
Robbie, just pick one DC superhero and say I would have liked to see that.
I want to see a Green Lantern reboot. That was such a softball.
Well,
I want to see more Batman. That's always an acceptable answer. All right, someone asked me that question.
They didn't make an announcement for the Green Lantern TV show.
Aren't they going to be bringing X-Men back again?
Marvel.
Yeah, but nothing's been officially announced yet. It might be after season.
Yeah.
Major,
totally.
Major, what did you want to see? I'm so glad you guys asked. You know what I wanted to see from the DC comic, the DC panel at Comic-Con, right? Enter stage left, Henry motherfucking Cavill, right? The whole team, right? The whole the crowd, right? Because they were a family, we're a team. I got Shazam on the mind, right? The whole crowd just explodes with excitement, right? Enter stage right, Ben Affleck coming back as Batman, right? The crowd goes crazy again. The two meet in the middle, right? They bro fist pump, they clasp hands and they bro hug, right? And then they full on make out in front of everyone.
So, no announcement. What they should have done is they should have announced a release date for Batman 2 or the Batman 2.
My question is, what would you do if you saw that happen? Are we talking about a Batman and Superman rom-com?
Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill are gay.
Yeah. I think the internet would lose their damn mind. I think that would be a great way for Warner Brothers to say that they are restarting the DCEU. We're rebooting it. And it ends with a kiss.
No. What they should have done is they should have come out, made out, and then said, we're doing an Authority movie. I'm playing Apollo. He's playing Midnighter. Because they're basically gay Superman and gay Batman.
No, they come out. Oh, no, they come out in their costumes, and then they rip off their costumes, and there's Snowflake and Safe Space.
Oh, that would have been...
Is that Marvel? Is that DC? I don't fucking know.
That's Marvel. But
oh, damn it. That's still Marvel. DC, bro, what are you doing, DC? Yeah. What have you done, DC, in the last 20 years? You pumped out 1,000 pieces of Batman content. That's great. But I don't have
all the biggest stuff.
You can't even make fun of DC.
It's been done so many.
Yeah, even
it's been
Marvel's
done so many times already. That's one reason, because all the first things that came to mind have already had multiple movies.
Yeah, Iron Man did it.
And I guess I'm not as aware of some of the ones that are just still in the comics.
I don't think they showed any Aquaman 2
Can we skip ahead to something I wish they would never do? And can I just say, just because it's been a comic and it's an iconic comic or whatever, we don't have to make a movie for literally every comic book superhero out there. And I would like to talk about Black Panther and specifically Namor.
Yeah, I think, on DC, let's just wrap up DC real quick. We know that the Batgirl movie's coming out, Blue Beetle, Aquaman 2, I meant they say Batgirl already. I think Batgirl's coming out next year.
Which one?
So they really
Keep
they
on
didn't announce anything new.
Yeah, so
It's
like,
just like I guess like, but to be fair, they're going through a company transition, so I'm sure like all movies past what's already been announced have been put on hold. Yeah, it was a pretty disappointing panel. That's what people felt, and I know like there was like a Harley Quinn season 3 trailer, or no, that's already out, I think.
the trailer
Stargirl
is season 3's not out yet, but the trailer is, and it looks great. There's some Nightwing in there too for all the bat heads out there complaining there's not enough Batman and Harley Quinn. The TV show about Harley Quinn.
Oh, we got to talk about that awful Gotham Knights show.
Oh,
It hasn't even come out yet. It looks awful. Have
I
you seen the
haven't
trailer
seen
for it?
Nope, is that the one about
I don't even know what the premise is.
Gotham
Like basically like Batman's adopted son.
Nice?
It's like an Elseworld story where Batman's killed and his adopted son discovers the Batcave with his friends. And like one of them's the Joker's daughter. One of them's like the girl from Dark Knight
It's like
Returns.
another-
It's really dumb.
This
I
sounds
actually don't want to talk
interesting.
about it. I'm making me mad just
kind of
thinking about it.
thing.
What?
Let's move on to Marvel.
This could be. What if this is the reboot, the ugly reboot for the future Batman, Batman. Yeah, the one after Batman the Animated Series.
DC,
Well, Gotham Knights
DC
on
goes
CW, though.
multiverse.
It's on CW, so
What is that
you're-
show? Batman Beyond. Thank you, Major.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. What if this?
I watched
It's not,
This
it's not
Batman
Terry
Beyond?
McGinnis. It's not.
What if his name's Terry
that would
McGinnis?
be cool to have that.
Yeah, that's right. I couldn't remember the name
That
of the
would be-
television show, but I can remember the name of the
That
character.
would be something I'd vote for coming back, Batman Beyond, because
Yeah,
I did
dude.
like that growing up.
Batman Beyond was great. It was just the only problem was it
Yeah,
just wasn't
it's
as
just
good as
like-
Batman
Obviously, we
the
do a live
Animated
action
It's like-
one. Well,
it's old
WWE's stupid,
Bruce Wayne,
though.
and
They've
he has
been
his
around for a
cool
while,
outfit.
but just imagine Michael Keaton in Batman Beyond.
Series. Right? Exactly. And we've
know,
already seen Michael Keaton as
Maybe like
old
10
man
years down the
Batman.
line.
Or no, we didn't. Not Michael Keaton. Sorry, we saw the voice actor. I always forget his name.
We saw Kevin Conroy.
Kevin Conroy, that's
So
it.
that wasn't. That was like in Batwoman, though. That wasn't Batman Beyond.
That was the crossover episode.
But it was more. That was more like Batman and Kingdom Come because they had like the body cast on or the body.
Right. But I'm just saying, like, he as an actor is not opposed to playing old man Batman. Let's go. Batman
already
Beyond
old, man.
reboot, please, DC. I know you guys are shaking out the joint.
Oh,
the new CEO is coming in.
I figure they're
firing.
gonna do like well they're doing like another Batman cartoon called Cape Crusader. I think Bruce Timm's involved with that, and hopefully Paul Dini. I don't know if Kevin Conroy's gonna voice him.
Or
they didn't announce.
Do we do a
News
complete
on
180 and we just stop putting out 10 pieces of Batman a year,
Yeah,
right?
unless they do like a Nightwing series based off the Chuck Dixon run.
Yeah, we'll just get around that by doing. Yeah, what they need to do is they need to work towards a Batman family, or Batman Inc., Batman Incorporated,
Yeah.
and then have 5 different spin-offs where you have Batmans in all over the world, and that'd be cool. That's how you keep,
Yeah, it's
that's how you
crazy.
keep that
There's
going.
a Harley Quinn cartoon, but there's no Batgirl, Nightwing, or Robin cartoon.
Yeah, well,
you know.
to be fair, the Harley Quinn cartoon is phenomenal. But you're right, like how it got
It's
through
like,
the pitch
you know-
meeting, because she's more popular. She got her own TV. She got her own movie. She got 2 movies, basically.
Okay. And yeah, Suicide Squad, which also tanked. I'm wondering if like Margot Robbie's ever going to play Harley Quinn again. Maybe she'll like show up on Peacemaker, but I don't think they're going to do another Suicide Squad movie. If anything, it's just do a Suicide Squad show. Bring them all back. And I think also, I forgot to mention, Viola Davis is going to be Amanda Waller in Black Adam.
Good. She's
So
my
maybe they are
Amanda
gonna,
Waller. She's perfect for Amanda Waller. She's so good for
Yeah,
Amanda
yeah,
Waller.
really good.
Perfect casting.
So yeah, I would love like a Suicide Squad anime series. Like, it's just crazy. There's only like one DC animated series out right now. Well, Young Justice, thing just wrapped up, but that's like, it's such a shell of its former self. Like, I watched like
Yeah.
the first episode of the second half of the 4th season.
Do you think that's because they've put everything
And it was
towards
just-
the movies? Because like they are pumping out some DC animated movies.
It's just it's focused so much on politics now. That's like it's not doesn't care about the entertainment value or just like adapting.
And you mean the
Or it's really it's another thing is like it's introducing too many new characters. Like, the characters we liked in the first season are barely in the show anymore, and they're just introducing like a new character who's going to take on the mantle of this character you liked, and it's just like,
Are you talking about Young Justice specifically?
Yeah,
Oh
Young
yeah,
Justice.
yeah. If
you
you
know,
go, if you start, if you
DC
like
Universe,
watch
I think they did a better
season
job
1, you loved it,
than
and
I
then
think
you
it
like
was
skip ahead to
Bruce
season
Timm
4.
Universe, which like
You're
by
like,
the time
no
it was like
one who
unlimited,
anyone
like, it was like
is.
throwing spaghetti at the wall. Like here's this character, here's this character,
No,
here's
no,
this
no,
character.
like
But I
it
think
drops off a cliff
Young
like
Justice did a better
exponentially
job
fast,
of
but like the
showcasing the DC
characters
Universe,
like are just completely different by
as
season
like a
4.
more
It's not the same cast and crew.
trying to think. It showcased DC Universe a lot better than the
It's
Timmverse.
Primo TV.
Justice
I
League
don't know if it's
cartoon
better
was
than.
it was a better oiled machine than the just JLU cartoon, which was good, but it was just basically it was like here's this character, now here's this character, here's this character, but Young Justice was like here's this team, and like but the Justice League are still very much a part and of the world, but yeah. Anyway, let's move on to Marvel.
Right.
So
It
let's
was
talk
more
about the She-Hulk
expansive.
trailer
It was
first.
more, yeah. It was definitely more.
I think it was
well
better
built
than,
out.
better than the
I
first
agree
one,
with that.
but I don't know. She breaks the fourth wall like she does in the comics, so I'm wondering if they're gonna. No, not at the very end. It was like at the beginning, because she turns the camera and she says like he doesn't mean that. So, and then Daredevil was in the very end in
Yeah.
his yellow costume, which I'm not crazy about. I know why it was done, but I'm just like,
I would
it's
agree.
sort of like, well, Daredevil. Well, it's done just for
At the
fan
very
service. His
end,
first
yeah.
costume was yellow in the comics, but
was it?
it's sort of like I can't take this character seriously anymore, and like they're definitely
that's
justifying
right,
the
yeah.
character.
Okay.
Like what they did with Thor, they're making him.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking.
I mean, I don't think they're gonna make him a comedy character, but they're making him more palpable for families than he was in the Netflix series. Like they did with Kingpin and Hawkeye. Like he was much
was
more
it done?
cartoonish in that show than he was in the Netflix series.
Oh, okay.
And like
So
in
you're
this,
still
he was
gonna
like,
Well, I see what you're saying. Well, so which one is
well,
it?
it's gonna be like
Or is it both?
Feige's
Are they?
Daredevil. It's not gonna be the Netflix Daredevil. He's gonna change it. Like he already did with Kingpin.
Yeah, he was much more.
It's not
menacing
gonna be.
than
I
the
don't think
Netflix series.
it's. I'm probably. It's
so
probably being
this
inferior to
goes back
Netflix.
to
Netflix took it so seriously.
a
but
discussion
I
we
just
often
don't
have
think
here
with
and is
Feige's
it, like,
mandate
are we
for let's
worried
insert
about
a joke.
The fidelity
every
of this
possible
content, or
let's
this
keep
content
it
being
lighthearted.
limited
Let's
by
keep the comedy
being
going.
limited by being under the Disney
let's
umbrella.
set up the next thing rather than like let's just focus on making a good solo movie. You know, I think it's going to be inferior to
But do you
Netflix.
think it's gonna be
It's
better
sort
or
of Monkey's
worse?
Paw. Be
Or
careful
the
what you
same?
wish for. We all want a Daredevil back, but is it going to be as good or as great with the Netflix series? Probably not. Of course, I would love it to be. And also, I think I don't think we mentioned this. There's going to be a new Daredevil show called Daredevil Born Again, and it's going to be 18 episodes. 18. Yeah, it's like 5 more than Netflix series. It's like, how are you going to like keep a season-long arc interesting for 18 episodes? Like they had a hard enough time doing it for 13 episodes. So, and why is everything 6 episodes except for Daredevil now? Yeah. So, well, hopefully they bring Bullseye back.
Yeah, that's a lot. A lot.
Yeah.
And I mean, on their more recent stuff, they haven't even been able to do
Well,
6 episode arcs. Maybe that's 3 seasons all in one. Hopefully
Falcon
this just
Winter
means that
Soldier,
someone came
exists.
to Feige with 18 episodes
Maybe those
worth
6,
telling. I mean, that's probably not the case. It's
In the
probably
second
like
half of Miss
16
Marvel,
episodes, and then they're like,
and
"Just
basically
need
most of
2 more
Hawkeye-
for like the extra month for subscriptions." And they're like, "Fine, Feige." But yeah, I don't think Kevin Feige would put out 18 episodes of trash.
Let's go in order.
So,
Let's go over the
six-
phase
was it,
5.
8 episodes,
She-Hulk trailer.
right?
Let's finish
And
that.
Two,
So
six,
I think they have
six
a
episodes,
Wrecking
and 2
Crew.
of them were good, right?
And this who's like a team of villains from the comics I really like. I think they usually fight Thor.
Kevin Feige saw the first episode of Miss Marvel, was like, perfect, green light, like, go ahead, do whatever you want to.
Like
I'm going back to bed. I've got Phase 5 and Phase 6 to plan over here. We've got Marvel titles till 2028. I've got a plan.
Bulldozer, who's like,
I'm not sure how I'm just watching
badass. It's just a guy with a hard hat helmet on.
Okay,
and like the Wrecker is just like, they look very underwhelming, and it's like a shame because they're supposed to be like Hulk level strong, but I don't know, but yeah. So, but this show looks like it's having a lot of cameos and stuff. I think there's Frogman's in it. I'm not familiar with, but I just know by reputation. There's a character called the Angel. I think they had a cameo in this. Who's like
nice.
Who started all the way back in Marvel Comics #1 with Submariner. Yeah, well, I think not world building, just like cameo. There's some cameo those characters. They're not gonna have like
really.
Yeah. Well, they're bringing back. They already brought back Abomination, but apparently, I think they from the plot elements that were
do some world building. Why not
showcased in this trailer? Apparently,
make it fun.
Because I mean,
like
Emil Blonsky in court.
Well, yeah, but like,
for I guess his crimes he committed.
You're in theory
12 years ago
building that world out. Like when you cameo Black Bolt and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, you instantly create a universe.
I like how they just like got rid of that.
Even if you don't talk about them ever again.
That issue with a line like it's conflict of interest. No, it's not. Okay, it's not. Just like they just like. I guess what did the Abomination do that he's on trial for? That because he's already being imprisoned. And like I think he tried to kill the Hulk.
Isn't that like a conflict of interest?
So it's been,
can you be a superhero and
it's been 14 years
in the law?
Since
like, it's kind of like
why
you're judging jury.
Now? Oh, okay. Maybe like parole hearing.
Done.
All right, it's like,
okay.
Is he healing
well,
him?
I can't wait for the pitch meeting.
They're probably
I can hear it
better,
now.
but I guess maybe that. I don't know if there's gonna be different cases. So I'm thinking this could be like a Better Call Saul situation. Like I think the show can be good if it focuses on the lawyer.
Yeah, it sounds like
attempted. But I think the superhero aspects are gonna suck. Like Miss Marvel,
well, it's probably for him to get out. If anything, if he can control his power, it's probably that. What appeal or yeah. I think it would be fun to see her fight trials for superheroes. If this was less about superheroes and more about law and order, if this was more about her fighting like criminal cases for superheroes, I think this would be really fun. And if they did it right, it could be well received. And then we could go on to see, like, you could open this entire world, because, like, let's be honest, right? Marvel, aka Disney, is not gonna stop milking this until it's completely bone dry, right? Like, they've got movies planned to 28, and you know they've got like really like, hey, like Feige, what do you want to do by 2024 or by 2040, right? So like, they need to build this out. They can't just keep doing this cookie cutter shit, or it's gonna
like one
die.
of my favorite
so
issues
like,
of Daredevil is like when he's defending
build us
the
out.
White
Like, let me see a superhero Law and Order
for
TV show.
robbery.
Let me see a superhero.
And like the White Tiger, someone was killed in robbery, and the White Tiger showed up.
Well, like we saw with WandaVision.
For the
right, like it can.
convenience store clerk
A TV show can survive.
I think the
on its
lawyer,
own
like,
with
you know,
characters.
superheroes
It
and
does
lawyer
not even
and
needs
like
to end with like
drama
a blue
can be
sky.
a really cool thing.
It usually does,
really
but if you do it right, it doesn't
we did see
have
a good portion of Daredevil, but
And
we
I
didn't
think
see
that would be
any season
cool.
3 of Daredevil. And you know, it's been a while, but Daredevil's gonna be in this, so you know, that'll be. What?
Very compelling. You know what that reminds me of, Forrest? Your point. is the intro to Batman the Animated Series. You get that iconic music by Danny Elfman, but it starts off with a bank exploding, and these two guys are outside the bank when the bank explodes, and so like they could just be like people walking by and then the bank explodes. I would run away too, but Batman just doesn't even question them, just like chases them down, starts kicking the shit out of them. Like I think you're absolutely right. Like you have a chance to make a very compelling show
the villain
looking at like the criminal like court system, the justice system in this superhero universe you've created.
And we saw them fighting a little bit in this
try to make it too much of a superhero TV show.
I'm wondering if she we don't know where her powers
are we going
come
to see
from.
a blue sky beam,
Dr. Doom
or is she going to fight someone with an
gonna
identical power set at the end of the
I think Dr. Doom might be teased in Wakanda Forever, but we'll get there. But yeah. Oh yeah, Wong showed up randomly. He's based in every Marvel movie now. So, but, you know, yeah, like literally, he's been in like every Marvel movie in Phase 4 except Black Widow, I think, because he was in Shang-Chi. He was in Doctor Strange, obviously. He was in No Way Home. I'm trying to remember.
Ben
What else came
Wong
out?
showing up.
Phase 4.
I think that's great.
There's
Yeah.
only 3 movies.
Oh,
Only
yeah.
4 movies?
I mean, the more Wong, the better. Way to go, Ben Wong. Just get
He does
he's
pop
been in
up.
almost
get
every
all
Phase
those
4
cameos,
movie.
bro. You're the best part of a lot of these.
Yeah. Yeah. So She-Hulk.
Because he can just teleport wherever.
I don't even be crazy
Yeah.
about this movie. I just hate the way they've treated Hulk after Ragnarok. They just keep like pounding him down
Phase
further
5.
into the
Up
ground
here on
with
Phase
each
4.
new thing that he's.
Anyway,
And also, why wasn't he hulked
good
out
for
at the
him.
end
Keep
of
it up.
Shang-Chi?
I love you, Wong.
He was like in the post-credits
been
cameo
great.
for that. No, he was a hologram, and he was like just normal Bruce Banner again. Yeah. So it's like, did they just not have the budget to show him hulked out for that? And it's like, fuck it, he's Bruce Banner again. It's fine.
Just what do you mean, like making him weaker?
The whole point of his
Shang-Chi, he was hulked out. He can't like switch. Oh, was he? Oh, man. It's
yeah,
been
I
so
saw that.
long.
Yeah.
So much content.
Yeah, so I don't know. But apparently, like, She-Hulk's already automatically better than everything Hulk is in this show, which,
Yeah,
I mean, she's better at yoga.
why did she change
I don't know.
think
Feige's
you know.
learned a lot from the X-Men series. He wouldn't insert this Deus Ex Machina. What do you
I
call
think
it?
it's like 9
Shot
episodes. I think
where
it's actually, there's
you
like several episodes.
don't
So
look
it's
like
like,
the
they
Beast
probably could have
anymore.
actually had an entire episode where she's training with Hulk. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, let's move on. So, She-Hulk Attorney at Law. I guess they didn't want to confuse it with any other. They didn't do that
Right.
subtitle. because
But
they
you
didn't
also
want
have to
confuse
speed
with
it
any
along.
other
We get
She-Hulk
it,
properties
Mike.
or movies.
I don't like it. Maybe she'll come off as American.
I think actually there was going to be a
but
She-Hulk
I understand you have 6
show
episodes and you gotta like
movie.
catch her up.
Actually, a TV show in the 80s or 70s with Bridget Nelson,
Right.
who was Red Sonja.
He's
in
had
that
like 9 years.
movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger. So
But
there
yeah,
was going to be
hopefully-
there was a
hopefully it'll be
proposed
good.
She-Hulk
Yeah.
show, but never got off the ground, thankfully. So let's move on to the Wakanda Forever trailer. So the Black Panther-less Black Panther 2 trailer. Oh yeah. So I'm pretty sure that Shuri's going to be the new Black Panther in this. So Namor's in this. So apparently, I found out today that they're not going to be calling his kingdom, his underwater kingdom, Atlantis. It's going to be called like Tonalon or something. It's something, some Mayan or Aztec word. But it's interesting because
Yeah, I always saw some claws at the end.
they mentioned in the first Black Panther movie, I think Claw said they were looking for they thought Wakanda was El Dorado, and they were looking for it in South America, but it was really in Africa. But apparently,
Somber
this underwater
tone.
kingdom that Namor rules is like the El Dorado of the Marvel Universe. It looks like it's called Talokan. So I think the reason they changed it because of Aquaman. They didn't want to have two. They don't have two Atlantises. So it'll probably be referred as Atlantis, like in passing, but it's just one of those things. How funny is that?
Sounds like a convention.
That there's going to be 2 movies about aquatic blue-skinned people coming out in 2022.
Don't have it too similar. Sure,
I wonder
whatever.
if James Cameron's in the trailer yet, and he's
really care less about.
And it's coming out like a month before Avatar: Way of the Water. So
it'll probably is this the Lassie of Atlantis?
Right?
And they're like, no, we are that name you just said, Dalakan.
Oh yeah, there's several blue skin species in the Marvel universe. There's the Kree. There's whatever Yondu is.
There's 2 movies about Armageddon. There's 2 movies
there's whatever
about.
What? Oh, I don't remember Blue Arm.
Right,
oh
I
yeah,
think
that might have been Kree.
And I had to go look it up.
Because she's part Inhuman,
just blue.
So
yeah. Could this be the blue arm that we saw in
Namor,
Miss Marvel?
Who is being played by the guy who
originally had the bangle?
Mexico. I started watching it.
Or was that confirmed free technology?
Remember
Miss Marvel? They got the
Namor,
flashback. They got the
Aztec.
bangle off that
when
blue
she first
arm.
got the bangle.
Definitely differentiates it from.
Yeah.
I thought they were
guess
Kree
the
from the
DC
Negabands,
Atlantis,
and
but I like that the Atlanteans are blue.
just a coincidence. Sorry guys, everyone's
so
blue
I like that.
here. No Smurfs.
I think what they're doing, they're gonna do is Namor's not gonna be the bad guy. He's gonna be in the antagonist, but I think there's gonna be another one of his subjects is gonna be pulling the strings, trying to get Wakanda and Atlantis to fight against each other. And I think, there's a character called Tuma. One of the bad guy's going to try to take Namor's throne, probably, the same way Killmonger. So, I have a feeling he's going to usurp. He's going to usurp Namor like Killmonger did. He's going to take over Atlantis, and he's going to have him attack Wakanda. Then Namor has to team up with Shuri and.
So not quite like a repeat
get back
of Black Panther 1, where the bad guy
was
prediction. Right. You're saying there's going to be an actual bad guy. It's just not going to be Namor. Oh, okay. It looked gorgeous.
It was cool. I think the first shot of Namor or the Atlanteans riding the whales is really cool. I think all the underwater stuff looked really good. I think the Atlantean aspect of this is gonna be good. I think it's gonna be weird, not having T'Challa in this. But
I like it. The movie looks gorgeous, right? The one thing I was I gotta see this in Dolby,
Black Panther,
and, a Dolby cinema. I gotta see this with Dolby Vision. The colors look
this thing with legacy characters. You have to kill off the original in order to raise up the new one.
Look gorgeous.
Mm-hmm. I mean, in this case, they didn't have a choice, but
it's gonna suck. He was so good. I miss him.
Well, I have a strong feeling that he's going to come back.
How can the new one ever be as good as the old one? That's why in the comic books, Bruce Wayne is still Batman 80 years later. Right. Oh, obviously, yeah. But this is something they're going to have, except for Chris Hemsworth, this is something that is going to become an issue or is already an issue.
Well, let's real quick on Black Panther.
We've seen,
Well, I'm gonna wrap up Black Panther.
RDJ was cool.
I mean, there's nothing much to say. It's just all the characters from the first movie were in this one.
Oh, for sure.
And,
he's definitely
new character they're introducing is Ironheart,
but he's gonna do it real classy, right? And I don't want to get too far ahead, but I do want to talk about 2 Avengers movies including one being Secret Wars coming out. I know, I'm just teasing.
No CGI rhinos
for the listeners
Marvel,
that we're going to talk
No
about.
CGI rhinos. And also, isn't Wakanda a landlocked country? So there should be an issue. I don't know. I think the opening scene with who's it, Nakia on the beach, that might have been like the Wakandan shore, but I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, big similarities in the trailer, right? With pounding on iron and
2 trailers. It's kind of funny, like
the heart
Marvel
dropping.
only had 2 trailers too, but they announced a
Cool.
lot of movies. Secret in.
Not for the purpose of this movie. What else will we see, Forrest?
Yeah. Trying to find.
They announced so much. Let's break down Phase 5.
Quantumania
Phase
is
4
gonna
was
be the first
exhausting.
Phase 5 movie,
is gonna be jam-packed, right? We've got Blade. We've got obviously Black Panther.
I like the first one. The second one was like very
I'm just
forgettable,
kidding.
but I think it was
This is an
designed just to
old
be
one, 'cause
very.
This is Blade's coming out in February
It's
2022.
very lighthearted,
Thanks,
not
pandemic.
really real stakes.
Man, oh, here we go. So 2023, you've got Ant-Man, Quantumania. Yeah, what do you guys think about that? That should be really fun.
Also,
fan of
I
that.
think,
Paul great.
remember
This is
the
gonna
guy
be
from
maybe a hint of
Peacemaker,
Kong-
the
hint of
black
Kang?
guy who was like
Kong.
secretly a butterfly? He's, I think, the bad guy in Guardians 3. He's playing the High Evolutionary.
So
And,
then you got Secret Invasion.
I don't know. I saw the costume
Right.
did not look good.
And I
Because I think
kinda
usually
we'll
his
come back
costume
to
is
this
red.
here
It's
in a
like it's like
minute. And
this
then
sort of like
Guardians of
Iron
the
Man
Galaxy
sort of
finally,
look to him, but
right?
it's like a
And
really weird.
James Gunn, I believe,
robe.
confirmed this is going to be the last one.
But yeah, I think High
not
Evolutionary is
including the
gonna be the bad
Christmas
guy in
special.
this, and yeah, so it'll probably be the last one. And hopefully, Groot will be an adult again. Echo.
Yes.
Echo from I think she's like
Multiverse?
going back
Or-
to her hometown, not like on like some sort of reservation, and apparently there's gonna be some sort of mystery or thing.
Different
So I think it's gonna be
universe,
cool. It's gonna be a Native American, centered story. So I think that's good. I think there's a show called Reservation Dogs out, and there's also a new show called
hopefully
Dark
Full Grown.
Winds on AMC.
Yep.
So there's a
Echo.
lot more
Now, do you
shows
know
out there
that's
with
gonna
Native
be
American
about?
casts. So I think that's a cool aspect that Marvel's getting into that. There was a comic called Scalped that by Jason Aaron, which took place on a reservation. It was basically just like The Sopranos with Native Americans. But I think they never got that show off the ground.
Cool.
But that'd be cool. That'd be something worth doing too. But so I think this is gonna be like Marvel's Native American show. So should be cool. We didn't see it. We saw a whole lot of Echo in Hawkeye, but it has potential to be good.
Nice.
Yep. Wonder. I wonder if we're gonna see King again. I think there's gonna be some other characters from the Thor comic book showing up in this, but I don't know anything.
would
I
be-
think
that-
what's
that
cool
sounds
about
interesting.
the
That's a
first
cool
season of
pitch.
Loki is we didn't know anything about it, and we're just sort of like finding out about it as we were watching it. So I think that's gonna be the case in this. I think it's definitely Marvel's most unique show.
Yeah. And then we get
Definitely
Loki,
not a standard superhero show.
season
because
2 of Loki. That should be a blast.
Yeah.
Definitely
Oh,
more
man.
Kang there.
Wait.
Well, Mono
so
became a
long.
superhero show in the last episode, basically.
I can't wait to see where that
Okay.
goes.
Yeah. Yeah, my list is different. So after Echo, Loki season 2, Blade, in 2023,
More unique than WandaVision?
Ironheart's getting her own series in 2023.
Yeah.
Agatha's getting her own series. It's not House
okay.
of Cards.
I agree.
It's
What
But
about
the style
which
of
I-
it and how they introduced everything, that was pretty unique.
Yeah.
Might be
we've
a
also got
prequel.
the Marvels
Maybe
coming
when she
out
was like
around
in
the same
item.
time.
That's what I prefer. But
That summer, July
I also-
28th, 2023. Yeah, and then Ironheart. The fall.
well, didn't
They
want to
changed
take
the
away
name.
her memory or something like that? It was
I like-
really
Yeah, I wonder
weird.
what they're
I
gonna
like
do
that
with
better.
Agatha. I saw that on the list.
Yeah, that was a really weird. Yeah.
Or
Yoki
did
Archer.
she lose? Did her spells wear off when she quote unquote died at the end of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness? Right when she was defeated, right? Did she lose her power? Did the spell?
Oh, that's right. It's destroyed, but it's on the Wonder walls.
She just trapped her. And like
I would
that
just be happy if
personality.
Agatha Coven
She
Chaos was just like
you always want to live like a
like
housewife or whatever.
Scarlet Witch
It was so long
Vision
ago.
season 2.
I could be wrong.
I wonder if
But,
White
so I
Vision's
think
going to show up in this.
I think maybe she gets out of her trance, right? And then we see her, I don't know, try to find the Darkhold.
I think what they could do with the Agatha
really
show
dumb.
is
I don't know,
in the comics, she has a son
it.
called Nicholas Scratch.
In
Who's a
every
bad guy.
universe.
So yeah, Mr. Scratchy. So I think what they could do is like, since she's depowered or whatever, maybe he's no longer a cat, and he like comes for revenge against
if we
her. So
started
it's gonna be like
a Twitter campaign
Yeah.
right now, I bet you can get Wong and Agatha Harkness.
And there's also, I think,
shipped up by the end
Nicholas
of
Scratch
phase
has
6.
like 7 kids of his own called the Salem 7, and they're like these weird like bestiality monsters.
Yeah, the rabbit. We saw
Like
him.
one's called like Lion Head. So, but you know, so I'm sure it could be. There's a good chance we could see Nicholas Scratch in the Salem 7 and Agatha Covenant Chaos, but it'd also be like a prequel. That'd be cool, like, you know, a Marvel show set in like Salem during the witch trials, but you know, or maybe a different time in history. Who knows? But yeah, we'll just see. So I'm looking at my net list. Captain America: New World Order. With
Of course.
yeah. So when no, it's gonna be Anthony Mackie. It's gonna be Sam Wilson as Captain America, I think. But you know, you could have a cameo as old Cap. I'm wondering.
We got Daredevil and
Yeah,
then Captain America: New World Order. And at first, Chris Evans has signed a contract to do one role.
Probably.
Do you think this is it, or do you think we're
in the Falcon
gonna
Winter
wait
Soldier,
for Secret Wars?
Where we see more Elaine.
Yeah, definitely.
Also, I'm wondering who the bad guy is going to be in.
So
New World
interestingly,
Order.
Thunderbolts comes
guess
out
is
after
possibly
this.
Serpent Society.
So I wonder,
Is there like a
like
trade
in
union for
July,
supervillains?
right? So Captain America
I think,
is scheduled for May,
you know,
early May, and then this is scheduled for late July, the same year, 2024. So I wonder if Captain America will set up the Thunderbolts.
No. I think they're saving it for Thunderbolts. But I'm thinking like they did the Flag Smashers in the last movie. Yeah. But you know, I think the Serpent Society is like one Captain America villain team that we've kind of wanted to see for a while. I think another possibility is the Grand Director.
I thought it'd be something like
like basically
that
the
Valkyrie
crazy
woman,
Cap of the
one with
50s.
Elaine.
After like, you know,
Valencia,
Steve Rogers
whatever,
was presumed dead.
whatever her name
like
is.
they
with the V.
they experimented on this guy called, I think, William Burnside, and he basically
Or she's probably setting
he
up.
got
the
cosmetic
Thunderbolts,
surgery,
isn't
looked
she?
like Steve Rogers, and he basically went crazy, and they put him back on ice, and then he came back and he started like this neo-Nazi movement called National Force, and that like be perfect, like the Proud, like basically Marvel's version of the Proud Boys, with like this crazy. The thing about Captain America, though, it's supposed to be political, but it can be done in a good way. You know, it can also be
Nice.
done in a. Well, I think conservatives and liberals can agree Nazis are bad. I think that's like one thing the two sides can agree on. So,
Yeah.
and like
So
neo-Nazis.
let me ask you this: when that comes out, though,
but,
are you going to come back on
the
the
thing
podcast?
is, though,
and be
like,
it was too political.
We already had like a usurper Cap and Falcon the Winter Soldier with John Walker, so it might be a little redundant to bring.
Yeah. It could also just not be a piece of shit. Like it can be political and it can be well done. Yes.
I don't know. I mean, we'll just have to see.
Right. Let me ask you this,
I don't know.
do you think?
I mean, another
Do you
possibility
think things
is
are back to normal
Red Skull's daughter
for
Sin.
the Captain America franchise? Are we gonna get
the
another
Watchdog.
run-of-the-mill Captain? I'm not saying run-of-the-mill is in generic, but I'm saying like an average,
yeah,
a general. Are we gonna get a Captain America story, or is this gonna be more world building?
So we'll but yeah, Captain America New World Order.
Is this gonna be
hopefully
a solo
better than
standalone,
Falcon
or is
Winter
this gonna be
Soldier.
more
I
towards the
didn't
bigger
care for
picture? Maybe. Yeah. I think they're gearing up towards.
Yeah, I don't think they even announced
obviously the King Dynasty and the Secret Wars. We know that.
I don't think they even announced director or writer. Hold on, wait. With Malcolm and writer who's sitting around.
It has to be. I mean, literally the bar is so low, bro. I mean,
yeah, that's the thing. They announced all
2
these
out of 10, 3 out of 10
TV shows or a lot of these
You
movies.
just don't make a movie,
but they didn't announce any showrunners.
I mean,
or,
prove me wrong.
Except the ones that were in development.
But
any directors or casting announcements, at least for Thunderbolts.
So many puns you guys have made.
Yeah, Captain America, no director. Daredevil, Born Again, no showrunner. Thunderbolts, no, that's a movie, so no director.
I hope so.
No
they announced
cast
the date for it.
Announcement.
May 3rd.
It's been 2 years.
2024.
I think Thunderbolts is going to be the last Phase 5 movie. So that.
That can always change. I like how. Yeah, that's what it looks like. I like how Marvel, the week before Comic-Con, it came out that their VFX artists are all miserable and they're working to the bone and all this overtime
Marvel Studios
to meet all these deadlines. And then Marvel with a death year was like, nah, fuck it. Let's go ahead and announce movies 6 to 7 to 8 years out in advance. They think we're tight with deadlines. Let's give them all the deadlines. Let's tell them when Avengers Secret Wars
is. That's gonna be the start of Phase 6.
November
7, no, they don't have a director for that yet because Joe Watson walked away to work on Star Wars.
There.
I think.
Get your VFX in
and
but we're jumping ahead of ourselves.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Speculating, what do you think it's going to be? They've got a Fantastic Four movie. We know that's coming out, so that's not it. Yeah. Oh, I wonder if there's been
a
award-winning
untitled
directors
Marvel
who's
Studios
also
movie in February
played
14th,
Reed Richards
2025. So maybe you're saying Shang-Chi Eternals, maybe X-Men.
I'm totally fine if they recast him. That was fun, but
who knows?
People, I agree with people online. They're like, "Oh, he wasn't great,"
King
or
Dynasty,
whatever. But also, you saw him for a minute.
I'm glad they're going with the title.
The script wasn't great, and that was just terrible writing. He was just doing his part, reading the lines.
Yeah. So.
And then, so King Dynasty is in May, and then Secret Wars is in November, right? So this is definitely an Infinity War Endgame situation, right? I'm really excited. Rob, are you familiar with Secret Wars?
No.
Okay, so Secret Wars came out when we were a little bit older, but I'll give you the short of it. No spoilers here. But basically, an all-powerful being, some might call the Beyonder, right? Take all of his favorite superheroes and they put them in a battle world, right? And then he just makes them fight each other.
Yeah, so
right?
I think they're just going to replace the Beyonder with Kang.
Is when you were 12,
and also it'd be a great way to
all of your superheroes, and you said who's going to fight who, and you start bashing superheroes together. And this superhero would be this superhero, and this superhero would be this superhero. I'm not going to tell you.
So you have Hyperion,
who wins, if anyone.
Who's Batman?
But it's actually
Dr.
I really
Spectrum,
enjoy it.
who's Green Lantern.
I'm
I think
very
the
much so
comics,
looking
like
forward to
Kang
Secret Wars.
has the Avengers fight the Squadron Supreme, who are working for the Grandmaster.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
So
That's
I don't know, I might be able to see that, but I
Logical
don't know.
thing to do.
Man, Secret Wars should be fun. Probably see the X-Men, Fantastic Four, and the Avengers all together. So I think it's the plan. But yeah, that's basically it, y'all. We're at like an hour and 20, so yeah. There's a strong possibility they're gonna reboot the MCU after Secret
My
Wars.
question is,
And maybe we can like recast.
my
Iron
last question
Man,
for you,
Captain
Forrest,
America,
as we
Thor,
wrap this up, is
maybe, like,
Secret Wars
do different versions of
2025.
those.
But
So,
at the beginning of the
I don't
podcast,
know.
I just said this
We'll
was going
see.
for like another 20 years. Like, we are quickly catching up to the comic
But yeah, I
books.
think I don't know. It should be fun.
Do you think?
I think King Dynasty first. You know,
I don't
there's a
know.
whole
What do
lot
you think
of
they're going
good
to do
King
after
stories.
Secret Wars?
Kang
now
is
that-
really like
now
the
that it's
Avengers.
official.
I'd say like arch enemy. You know, probably more so than Ultron. I think
That's what I'm thinking, right? Maybe.
and Thanos,
oh,
you
Young
know, he's
Avengers.
definitely
We didn't talk
had
about
more history with
maybe
the
a
team.
Young Avengers.
I think Kang is definitely the more interesting villain because he's, you know, there's the Council of Kangs. There's like, you know, so many different
Maybe a
versions
Young
of him,
Avengers
you
is
know.
one of those
There's like
mystery movies.
Ramatut. There's like Scarlet Centurion. There's Immortus. So a very complicated villain, but I don't know. He's gonna be a lost. So I'm glad there's. Mhm.
Yeah. The Day of Ultron.
So, yeah, so he's gonna be an Ant-Man and the Wasp, and you know people might think he's being oversaturated, but he's like one of those characters that needs to be oversaturated because there's so many different versions of him. So, yeah.
See, that would
See
be
how
a
good
good
it's
Disney
made.
Plus. You give me a 6-episode Disney Plus show of Kang's introduction, so we don't have to worry about any of that for the Kang movies, and then we can just hop right into Avengers: The Kang Dynasty. Yeah, give it to us. And John Majors is so good. Like, give me more. More. What did you guys, the lovely, wonderful listeners who have been, I can't believe you stuck around to the very end. Thanks so much for listening, guys. What did you guys think of Comic-Con? What do you guys think of the trailers? What are you most excited for? And
Yeah,
because
but after everything.
we're all good capitalists here, now that we know what we're getting, we have to ask what's next, right? We're never satisfied here. So what do you think is coming after Secret Wars? Do we get a reboot like Forrest thinks? Or Rob, do you have any idea on what you'd like to see?
I want R-rated Wolverine
from Marvel after this?
again. That's who I want to see in the yellow costume, not
Oh, man.
Daredevil. I want to see Wolverine
Well,
in the
they
yellow
got the
costume.
She-Hulk coming.
And we know
out
that's
that-
coming.
that
If they're
looks
doing the yellow
entertaining.
Daredevil costume, then they're sure
Yeah,
as
they
shit gonna
got,
do the
You know,
all the
yellow
Phase
Wolverine
5.
the
costume.
more I think about it, the less I think they're going to reboot, right? Like they're about to get Deadpool into the MCU. They're about to get X-Men
Oh,
into
man.
the MCU. Like they
R-
can't reboot
An
now.
R-rated Deadpool. That's one
To that I say,
I'd be
fuck
interested
yeah.
in seeing. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Maybe R-rated. Yes. Give me. Yeah, I mean, we got the yellow wheelchair. I know that was in a different universe and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Whatever, we got it. I'm happy. At least he knows. At least he knows what fan service is. If you guys want to give us some fan service, you can tweet at us at Z Zealot Podcast or Z Zealot Podcast for our friends up north. On Twitter, let us know what you think. If you want to join the conversation, we've got a free Discord you can hop in. We've got a link here that'll be in the description. If you enjoy the podcast, which I'm assuming you did if you got this far, it would go a long way. Tell your nerdy friends about it. Maybe share a tweet into the vast void, or give us a 5-star review.
So.
We'd really appreciate it. And just tweet us, send us some love, send us some thoughts.
We'll see you
what
next
think
time, everyone.
about
Thanks for listening.
DCEU. And you know, what would happen if Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck made out on stage at Comic-Con? Let us know at Z Zealot Podcast on Twitter. I've been Major. Oh, sorry. I've been Rude. Sorry. Go ahead. I'm still Major.
You messed
I'm a
up.
rude boy.
I'm